Hello, welcome Solex Nation. We want to announce our next leaders call, and that's for golds and above. And that is, do you know when it is?
Is it June 29th?
It is. It's June 29th at 4 o'clock Mountain Time. You know what we're going to be talking about among other things on that call?
Yeah, we always announce the next quarter's incentives, right? What we're going to be doing for the next 3 months.
Yes.
And the bonus incentives we always have.
That's right. I can't believe we're already going to be announcing quarter 3 incentives that were already there in the year, but that is what we're going to be doing. So mark your calendar for June 29th at 4 o'clock Mountain. And if you are a gold or above, and even if you haven't broken that rank, if you've hit the rank of gold or platinum or pearl, you are going to receive an email to be invited, and you will receive the Zoom link for that.
Perfect.
So speaking of incentives.
Yes, we have a June incentive going on. As a reminder, what that is for every new enrollee, PC or QLA, that enrolls with a qualifying order, a device, and a subscription, right? They will get a coupon code for the Dave Discovery event, which is a $150 ticket price right now.
Right.
And so what we want to do is when you place your enrollment order, that coupon code is going to be emailed out to you, right? So, of course, make sure you receive communication from the company at enrollment. Check the box, right?
Yes.
And you have 30 days from enrollment in order to use that coupon code in order to complete the registration for the event, which is to purchase your ticket.
Yes. Now I want to clear up a little bit of, I want to add a little clarity here, because we did have some people that are already QLAs or PCs that purchased their Dave Discovery tickets, and they're asking, do we have to register? If you purchased your Dave Discovery ticket, you are registered. The reason we need the new enrollees to go in with the coupon code and purchase a ticket is because we need to have a head count. We have a limited amount of people that can come to our Dave Discovery. So if we give hundreds and hundreds of people a free ticket for enrolling this month, and we're going to assume that they're coming, and then what if they don't? So we need a head count. So the only way we can do that is by having your new enrollees go and use this coupon code and basically purchase their account. That secures their spot.
Yeah, that coupon code makes the purchase $0.
Yes,
right?
they're not buying anything.
Yeah, there's no that's the whole benefit here.
Yes, they're just reserving their spot. But if you bought your ticket, your spot is reserved. No need to worry about that. Okay, now let's talk about the difference here. We have people in the United States and around that are going to get this coupon code to come to the United States Dave Discovery. That's in Provo, Utah, and that is September 15th and 16th. What about the people that are in Australia?
Yeah, so we're distinguishing that, right?
Yes.
In November 9th to 11th, we're doing an Australian Dave Discovery. And so for those in that region of the world, it is more accessible in order to get a ticket to that. So if you enroll in Australia, New Zealand, you're in Malaysia or Singapore, people there that want to come to the Dave Discovery, it will be for the Australian Dave Discovery, which is going to be in the Gold Coast. Again, November 9th to 11th.
Yeah, so if you are a new enrollee this month, then you will get a coupon code for the Australian Dave Discovery if you're in those 4 countries. Of course, if you'd like to come to the United States, we would love to have you. Let us know.
Yeah,
let us know. Get a hold of our customer support and we'll switch it. Yeah. Well, we have something fun to show. We have not seen one of these for a few months.
We haven't.
We have another license plate. This is Stefanie Warner, and I'm so excited that Steph has a license plate. I love that you chose to have a license plate. You didn't choose Team Solex. That's fine. You chose AOScan. It's all right.
Wrong team.
No, it's all the same team. We are so happy to see that. And Steph, you already have a Solex silver coin. You're already part of the legacy group, but you get another one for your license plate. So we'll be sending that to you. And if any of you are saying, what in the heck is this? What are you talking about? A license plate? First of all, we get the question, where do we get those? Those are from your DMV. And if you have a license plate that says AOScan, or if you have a license plate that says Solex, then send that in to us with a picture, and you will receive a Solex silver coin and be part of our legacy group. We have a lot of them out there.
We have a lot. A lot of them all over, even out of the country.
Yes, we do. We have some out of the country. So fun to see. Thanks, Steph, for sending that in. We had a contest last week.
Yes, we did. And it was about, we went off of vitals, right?
Oh, yeah.
We had a great call on vitals last week. And so we said, what is vital to your Solex business or experience.
That's right.
Right? That was the basis of the contest. And so you commented on last week's call. It's time to draw some names.
Yes, and we're going to give away our brand new bracelet.
Oh, the blue agate.
The blue agate bracelet. So we're going to choose 3 people right now, and we're going to give the blue agate bracelet away. All right, got one. This is Your Body Talks with Jesse Morrison. What is vital to my Solex business? Heck, a month ago, I'd never even heard of Solex or the portable AO scanner. I've been an energy healer for 25 years now, but this makes the miracles I've witnessed seem like caveman healing. I've introduced it to 25 people for free because it goes into depths I cannot. Every household needs a scanner balancing device. My new mission is to bring this into every home as soon as possible so we can take the burden off of our medical system. I need to go through each video in the university and learn how to use this fully and make a business out of it. I'm not kidding. Every household needs one. Jesse, we completely agree.
Yeah, I totally agree. In fact, that's kind of what vision-wise is like 100 million households.
Yes,
right?
That's what we want.
Worldwide. All right, number 2. Alice Reynolds. I have to admit that by day 2 of the Alpha Pass, I was gifted to try AO Scan. The ability to imprint absolutely sold me and caused me to purchase that day. But the most vital aspect of this vast suite of tools in the AO Scan device for my ministry is hands down being able to broadcast Cephy custom playlists anytime. Scanning is important and I love each one of those, but if the Cephy ability to make and broadcast custom playlists or the ability to imprint went away today, that is what would make me cry the hardest. I think a lot of people would cry, Alice, if the Cephy went away.
Yeah. We're not going to make you cry. It's not going anywhere.
No.
All right, last one is Barbara Loading. Oh boy, so hard to narrow down an answer for you. I guess what is vital to me is the ability to know what supplements I should be taking on a daily basis. This one feature has saved me money because I'm not taking supplements I do not need daily, so each bottle lasts longer, and protected my liver and kidney from taking too many supplements. The ability to imprint homeopathic remedies is invaluable too and has saved me money also. If I added up the money saved, it goes a long way towards paying for itself. Thank you, Solex.
Great angle. Love that.
Yes. I am guilty, though, of running my Easy Scan every day, and it doesn't come up with some of the supplements that I want to take. I take it anyway. I need to not do that. But I love having my supplements come up on my scanner every day and tells me exactly what I need. I agree with you right there.
Yeah, and we've said that in the beginning. That's just one way to save money or to look at the money-saving opportunity in order to offset costs in the scanner.
Yeah.
That's great. But in and of itself.
Look at our testimonials from last week. I mean, we had 2 lovely QLAs that came to visit, and one of them was telling us about how she did one scan. She paid for one scan. It was a different company, but she paid $150 for one scan for herself. And she said, I pay that in a month, and I scan my whole family for that price. So yeah, it does. It pays for itself. We have another fun thing. So we just ran our commissions, which means that we have rank advancements that we get to share.
Once a month we get to do this. Let's take a look.
All right.
I love this list. Every month I love the list of those who broke the rank. Again, a reminder, that is people who achieved that rank for 3 months.
That's right.
And so it's no small thing to break a rank of bronze, silver, or gold.
No.
And there's dozens of people on that list. I love that. So much hard work. Whichever rank you broke, if you're on that list, we commend you for the consistent, hard effort towards building your business. And we hope you are achieving the successes you want to achieve in the process.
Well, and you know what that does is that gets you closer to earning Punta Cana.
Yeah.
And guess what? June is the month that you want to hit it hard.
Yeah.
It's because you need to qualify for 3 months, right? So you qualify June, July, and August, and you earned Punta Cana. So great job to all of you. We love to see that list. Now, speaking of bringing new people on, we have some top enrollers. We do not have a tie this week.
No tie.
But we had our top enrollers both brought on a lot of people.
A lot of people.
Yes.
A lot of busy people.
Yes.
I mean, they must have been doing a lot of scans.
Yes.
And doing a lot of talking. From June 5th to the 11th, in second place, we have Debbie Jane Harris, who came in second place.
Congratulations.
And congratulations, Debbie. Great hard work. Well done. We hope that you felt the success and maybe some relief from working so hard with how many people you talked to.
Oh, I already know Debbie Jane. She has goals. We talked to her a couple weeks ago, and she is going to be bringing. You'll see her name a lot. I'm very confident. Now, our first place winner, if you've been here, you know this name.
Yeah, you've seen it a few times.
Rita Dickinson. Now, let me tell you, Rita brought on 8 QLAs this week. 8. That's amazing.
It's
well
like,
done,
you know
Rita.
what? When she is in recruiting mode,
my
it is
word.
like a fire hose.
She's
she
unstoppable.
goes and she talks to everybody. She doesn't sleep. I'm convinced she doesn't sleep. You know, she just works and works and works and works. And what a grinder.
Well, I'll tell you what, we have our leadership event this week in Park City, and Rita will be there. And I think I'm going to corner her and say, give us your secrets. Tell everybody right now how you're doing this. Everyone wants to know how you're doing this, Rita. Congratulations to both of you. We have a Solex podcast. Now, we've had it about a year.
Yeah.
And we are taking the next step, and we have a lot of content over the next few months that we are recording, and we've already started to record some content.
Yeah, I mean, what the podcast has been to date has been basically the weekly call.
Yes, if you don't have time to watch the weekly call, you can jump on the podcast and listen to it while you're driving to work or going to wherever you're going.
Yeah, so and we're venturing as far as it changing. The next step is to broadening it, right?
Yes.
Is not just for a weekly call, but actually getting more research content being presented to you if that's of interest, right?
That's right. So we're excited to show you a segment from one of our upcoming podcasts. And it is actually you and Jake having a conversation. And we will have that full episode uploaded soon to our podcast. So if you need a link to that, go ahead and look at the underneath this video.
Yeah, the description.
And you will have a link to our Solex podcast. But let's go ahead and take a look.
So when we talk about longevity, it's interesting because it kind of begs this question of, I think, the starting point of what is an additional year added to your life worth right now? Yeah. Like if you could pay for it right now, today is the day, and everybody has their clock ticking, right? There is this end point, a day is set where everybody will pass on. But if you could influence that today and make that purchase, do that thing that would guarantee the additional year, what would the value of that be? Yeah, if there was a price to pay to have an additional year gained, and maybe in that is an additional year of a good experience, a quality of life that you are hoping to maintain. Essentially the idea of live as long as possible, and then when it's time to pass quickly, right?
Yeah.
Like let's shrink the time that it takes to move on from this life, but let's expand the enjoyment and all the fun that we're going to have in this life as long as we can.
Yes.
And I think the idea is if you can really ask yourself, what is that value? It really becomes hard to quantify. It becomes really difficult to say, okay, yeah, an additional year of life is worth $100,000 or $50,000 or $1 million. It's hard for any of us to say that because we don't know what's going to be in that year, because we can't see what our life will be in that last year. When you hit that last hour of life and you're conscious with that last hour of awareness, and then you get to ask yourself, if I had another day, if I had another year. Now, that's very, very sobering in and of itself. That is a very sobering concept. We don't need to make this a very depressing.
Talk about what time frame of morbidity?
Yes, time frame of morbidity
starts now.
Yes.
Emotionally, anyway.
But what we are talking about is, boy, you can invest something today.
Yeah.
That will actually give you that additional hour, that additional year. What if it gave you an additional 2 years or 10 years? No, again, to the joking around of being in your 20s and not mature enough to weigh some of these.
Reckless,
right? We're
is the first thing that comes into mind.
Reckless years of our life where we could make really good choices to do a lot of wonderful things that would impact us when we're 80 years old, 90 years old, right? But that doesn't get us off the hook when we're in our 30s and our 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, right? There isn't a time frame that says, unless you have passed on, you are still within the time frame to achieve successful health for the time you have left, right? That in and of itself. So we dive deep, and we want to touch deeper on this concept of what can give us greater longevity in life. We're going to talk about Peter Attia. We're going to talk about the New England
NECS.
NECS, yes, the centenarian study.
There we go. I was wondering what the C was. I'm like, NECS is just good.
NECS.
Just to remember.
We'll leave it at NECS, right? Because, and we're going to talk about their work and the different studies and projects that they've been involved in, which actually the whole point is to study longevity, not just longevity, but what makes these people in the exceptional longevity. Is there something we can take from how they live their life, how they are, that we can incorporate now in order to obtain?
Yeah. Whether it is how we influence it physiologically or how our genotype is.
Yep.
And maybe marry the two and how we can physically influence the gene expression.
The gene expression. Exactly.
And that's taking it so down into a nutshell. It's crazy.
Yeah.
There's many factors in how gene expression is, right? Environment, and the list can go on.
There's on and on and on. No, Peter Attia, that is the person who kind of was a springboard towards this conversation, right?
Yes.
Peter Attia, you were participating in a podcast, and you shared it with me. But something he said, something he came across, he's kind of unloading the keys to longevity, right? He's talking about the obstacles to longevity, and then he talked about something that really triggered.
He talked about how, we can go into a doctor and get, a body scan, right? Mm-hmm. And that's not definitively a word. It can mean many things. Yeah. Biologically, mechanically, we can look at a body and see what's performing and what's not.
Right.
And then he mentioned, but there's no scan for emotions. There's no way we can do that with how we can do that with the body. That was the trigger.
Yeah.
Because I work with a scanner every day.
Yes.
To use the word scan, right? The AO scan, if I'm not mistaken, that whole thing started because of emotions, to scan emotions, to help us, I don't know about control emotions is the right word, but to balance maybe our emotions.
Yeah.
And look at our emotional state.
I think that's right. I think there's a ton of research, and we can go down that path of talking about how emotions are so tied to disease and illness, and it really gets in the way of longevity. But when Dr. Attia, goes down the path and he goes, hey, look, we have all these scans, but emotions are such a huge factor in our lives, and he's expressing that, right? He's saying,
he devotes a whole chapter in his book to emotions.
Yeah, that book is Outlive, one of his recent books. It's kind of this culmination of his research and the meta data that he's pulled together from other research. Great book. In fact, we'll reference it and pick some pieces out of his work. But he goes into emotions and he says, but there's no scan for emotions. And we're sitting here, AO scan technology, inner voice, wait a minute. Let's pause there. We need to send something to Dr. Attia and say, hey, look, whether you like it or not, there is a scan for emotions in the effort to balance those emotions, right? And to balance those ones that we're suppressing and compensating for it in such a way that usually those will be ones that are influencing biological reactions. And then into chronic situations where inflammation is at play, and then obviously disease could be rampant when like stress is the easiest one to pick on because it is the one that's most commonly there and is most chronic for everybody. What would it be if once or twice or 3 times a day you could pick up a tool, a device that helped understand what emotional state you were in, and then help feed back the right offsetting, the balancing harmonics, so that you can balance things out for that part of the day. I tell you what, if we were on the battlefield of emotions, that would be the largest battle force, I think, against the onset of difficulties in life, right? Regarding our emotions and the impact of those. Where do I start? And this is not necessarily proof in the pudding, but where do I start? I start by attacking inflammation. Inflammation is a symptom of every disease, right? There's acute inflammation, and then there's chronic inflammation. And it's the chronic inflammation that we want to get rid of. Inflammation in and of itself is not a bad thing. Inflammation actually is the body's natural response as a defense mechanism to try and help take care of the body.
Like when you and I probably instigate inflammation in our bodies every day.
Every day.
Intentionally.
Yeah, intentionally. You work out, you rip those muscle fibers, you go for a long run, you stress the body in a positive way. Yeah, you're going to inflame, right? That's what happens. But that's the positive version, right? That's that acute attacking the scenario to say, hey, let's start to repair, right?
Yeah.
You tear the muscle fibers in working out, you repair them and you get a bigger muscle, right? Right, that's what happens. But the challenge comes when we have this chronic inflammation, right? It's not the cut on the finger and you see the redness around it. That's inflammation, right? Healing, it's cutting the same spot over and over and over and over again. And where is that most often prevalent but unseen? In our emotions. We go back to emotions, right? What Dr. Attia was saying, hey, there's no scan for this. And we're saying, but there is. There is a scan for this, right? We're saying inner voice, the core of AO scan technology is inner voice, right? In and of itself. And we're never going to say that inner voice is the be all end all of healing emotion. No, there's so many factors involved. But what we can do is if we can balance emotions for even a few hours today, right? If we had a particular stressful episode and then we run an inner voice and that takes the edge off, so to speak, then we can actually, with a level mind, a more leveled mind, right? Taking maybe a little bit more logic into the emotional state to say, should I be that stressed about that?
Yeah.
Should I carry this worry forward? Or is that something that I can't do anything about and then work through a process? And there's so many tools, right? There's so many tools like breathing exercises.
Yes.
There's meditation, right? Yeah. All of which is going to empower us and strengthen our ability to manage the emotions in our life. Now, I'm not saying there are too many challenges and there's not one simple sentence that's going to heal everybody.
Totally true.
But if we know that that can be a chronic challenge that leads to disease, boy,
and we have a very potent, robust tool in that inner voice to, like you said, like that's not the end all be all. But gosh, it's a really great tool. It's something that just gives us that kick, that kickstart, it just gets you ahead so quickly.
It does.
That you can begin the balancing, the healing so much faster.
Well, and I think in that, if you can break the cycle of a chronic cycle, right? The challenge of chronic is whether the emotion is triggering the disease or the disease is reinforcing the emotion, right? The thing is you want to break the cycle, right? And whether you break it on the disease side or whether you break it on the emotion side or both, you're trying to not make it chronic. You're trying to reduce that to something that you can manage and then put it in its place. When we move forward, since the research isn't saying definitively this or definitively that as far as genetics goes, but we do understand that there's variations in genes, and we do understand that we can influence some of the cell performance, a lot of the cell performance by the environment we're in, what we expose ourselves to as far as toxins and pollutions, but then also providing the resources. Like, for example, like when in our efforts to design Think and to design Prime, the effort there was exactly to instigate the cellular response to an imbalance or an inflammation-inducing reaction in the cell. That is the point. That's why they were made. In fact, Prime in and of itself is sitting on tens of clinicals as far as the ingredients that make it up, tens each of that. And that combination, when you look at those and you look at some of the research that can be helpful for understanding why those ingredients help you at a cellular level, we begin to understand, look, we can provide the right situation, we can provide the right climate, we can provide the right resource, right, to our situation so that our cells can function to their best ability so that they have a maximum life. And then in that maximum life, if they all live their max life, you're giving the greatest influence on the variation of the gene response so that you can influence longevity in your own way, whatever that is. I think that that's the outcome. You learn what you can do to influence delaying the 4 horsemen. Again, Alzheimer's disease, cancer, diabetes, and heart disease, right? When we are battling those, delaying those because of our education, yes, we're not saying lifestyle alone is the factor. We're saying that we can learn the lifestyle that will enable the right cellular behavior for longevity. I think that's the key. In my research, my understanding of what Dr. Attia is presenting and the NECS and all the clinical work that all of that study sits on, that's what it means to me.
Yeah, that's exactly the conclusion, if you will, I guess, that I came to too, was just feeling so bogged down when seeing the gene variants and possible outcomes of those who get Alzheimer's and having a certain variant, right? And if you have this variant, you may get it. You have the chance of getting it. And along with the centenarians is that, what he's proposing is that, man, can we replicate their genotype?
Yeah.
And that's beautiful to me.
Yeah, that is.
It's just great because there's something I can do. There's something I can influence, and this is not like a doomed conversation.
No, it's not. And because here's the thing, I'm of the theory that the best scientific work would always be individual, right? Meaning, if there was unlimited funds, each individual that lives would have the clinical study for them done, right? It's impossible.
Right.
There's just not the funds nor the resources to be able to accomplish that, but that would be ideal, right? Because in the end, even clinical research at its best is to give you a macro view of a micro situation to impact the general population. It's the individual that is most important. In the end, because it's the individual and their personal circumstance, because everybody's going to be different. You can be in the very same family and again, have very different experiences throughout life, whether it's emotional, physical, or otherwise. Now with that is, to me, we're having a tool on a daily basis that enables you to have a better understanding of your well-being, even albeit on a frequency state, right? Because if you're going to learn more about the well-being of your body, and the frequencies of your body can help you understand how your heart is doing, how your arteries are doing. You know, what are the vitals? What's the blood makeup as far as frequencies go?
All the way down to cholesterol, blood lipids.
Yes.
Should I eat a walnut today?
Yes. Food isn't exactly the things that will cause inflammation or react to inflammation. You know, we have a tool in the AO scan technology. When you think about the value of one more year, okay? Yes, I understand that the AO scan technology is $149 a month. And that in and of itself is to be respected because there's millions and millions of dollars put in to its development, its maintenance, and its further deployment. With that said, $149 a month in the concept of saying, okay, the older you get, the healthier you've been, right? When you take investment in the healthier you've been, right? Today, your health today, that will enable the older you get. And that investment becomes pretty minor when you think about if you knew a little bit more, if you were educated a little bit more about your well-being today and in the coming decades, would that have been well worth it in that last extra years, decade of your life? I think for you, for me, for most people, I think, yeah, hands down, it's well worth it. I want to know more about my well-being.
Hey, Kai, it's been a few weeks.
Yes. Lauren, I'm happy to have you back.
Oh, that's right. That's
as
nice.
much as I love
So nice.
closing these calls with Shelby, no, it's nice it's great to be back, and glad you're with us.
It is. It's awesome to be back. But it's been a good, productive few weeks, which
good.
people come to know soon.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
you and Jake, that podcast that you guys put together is awesome.
Yeah, longevity, I think, is a real interesting
important,
topic, right?
yeah.
And we just spent, and obviously, like Shelby said in the beginning, the full length of that, where we kind of go into the different pieces of research and at least make comments on those so that to inform people. But that's an interesting, there was a question asked at the very beginning of that podcast that I think is a good question to ask everybody here. What would you do right now, or what are you doing right now to add an extra year to your life, to the end of your life?
Great question.
Right?
Great
Isn't
question.
that-
Yeah.
I mean, you could take it to an extra 5 years, an extra 10 years. In fact, tell us. In order to add this many years, this is what I'm doing. But we talked about emotions.
You did. And the thing is, when we ask questions like that, people will automatically jump to the most difficult things they can imagine that they have to do. And that isn't the case.
No.
Sometimes the changes we need to make are really small and
Yes.
simple. And you and Jake hit on it today with the emotions.
Yeah.
So I think, why don't they tell us some of the things that they can do or are going to try to do now to add that longevity?
Yeah.
And to go along with that, how do you feel about giving away the Lightwave Glasses?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
3 of them.
That's perfect. It ties right into inner voice. Obviously, we have it linked
Emotions,
to
yep.
the emotions. That is no small giveaway,
No.
Lauren. That's a big deal. And of course, we just don't give it away to one person.
But we're giving it away at the start of something else that's big. And that's the podcast. This
Yes.
new podcast.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
I think they go together.
Yeah, they go together. Okay, so 3 people will draw your names, make your comments on the call. Remember, after the live call is done, make the comments here on YouTube. We're going to draw 3 of your comments next week, read those, and give you some Lightwave glasses. How about that?
That's great.
That's great. Well, everybody have a great week.
See ya.
We have a June incentive.
What? She already screwed up. First line.
I did
Nailed
on
it.
purpose.
I never screw up.
I did on purpose so that you would feel better about yourself. We started it. Let me start over.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yes.
We have had it probably about a year, would you say?
I would say.
And we have.
I'm sorry.
That was so bad.